What is up, guys? My name is Tim, and in this video we're going to be making an American flag out of reclaimed wood from a house that was built in 1912. So when we tore the house down, the house was right there. We tore the house down. I made sure to salvage some of the wood in order to do this project, so I'm really excited to see how it comes out. Let's go look at the pieces of wood that we picked. All right, so this is the wood that we have. This white wood came from trim around the windows. This red, it actually worked out really perfectly. This red was from the corner of the house, and then this piece of normal color wood that came from the soffit on the porch. But what I'm going to do is, this is perfect red and white. I'm going to sand this down and I'm going to stain it blue and then paint the flags. But let's get started. One of the first things I did is I went online, and there's actually an American flag calculator. So you can plug in, I want the flag to be, for me, 37 inches long, and it breaks everything else down. So this is what your width needs to be. This is what the width of the stripes need to be. So I'll put a link to that in the description below. Be careful though, because you have to change it from centimeters to inches if that's how you want to measure. But I got everything written down on a piece of paper. So we're gonna start to go at this. One thing I did after the fact that I did not show you is with each piece of wood, obviously one side was clean from going through the table saw for cutting it down to size, but the other side was a rough surface. So I went and I did maybe a quarter of a blade through the other side as well, so that when I glue them together, each piece is going to be glued and it's going to sit well because it's not a rough surface. So that's something I did just so that when I go to glue them together, it's an easy, good bond. So we got everything cut down to size. We're gonna lay it out on the table now and see how it looks. I'm gonna sand an extra piece of this down, sand it, stain it, see what it looks like, or see if I should just leave it like that, because it does look kind of rustic and cool. Now I'm gonna stain the top section blue before letting it dry, and then put the stains on it. I'll show you which stain I'm going with. I got the Minwax tintable stain, and we are color navy blue. So I did do a test piece of wood, and I sanded one down, and then I didn't sand one down, and the blue, for whatever reason, took so much better in the one that wasn't sanded down. So that's what we're going with. Wipe off the excess. So I did some of the gluing last night. I put 4 pieces at a time. One, just because that's the size that fit with these clamps, but I also wanted to do that to ensure that these 4 pieces are really well glued together. These 4 pieces are glued together, and then essentially I'm just gonna be gluing maybe 3 to 4 sections together at a time. I really wanna make sure that the glue holds really well. I'm gonna show you the process I'm using to glue these sections together, flipping them up. I've always used Type on 3. I don't know, just all I have. I just flip them. This one here. So I want this side down here to be really aligned, because this is the one that's going to butt up to the star section of it. So if that's not aligned perfectly, I can always shave that down a little bit, but this is what I really want aligned. And then just glue. Now I'm going to take a paper towel, because you can see some of that glue is starting to seep out. So I don't want it to dry on the front end. If it goes on the back, that's fine. But I just take this, a little bit of water, And I'll just wipe that glue off. Now I'm gonna repeat that same process for these final two pieces. One thing to note is that when you're doing these in sections is to make sure that you're doing it you're starting with the right color, right? I don't wanna put it, I guess with two, it doesn't really matter. But if it was a 3-section piece of wood, you wanna make sure that you have the colors in the right area when you glue them together so that obviously the flag is correct. But we're just gonna put glue on both sides of these. Now I'm gonna spray paint on the stars. So this is one of the kind of nice things about piecing it together how I did, opposed to having all of the wood here, is I don't have to cover or worry about overspray on the other piece of the work. So I bought this stencil off Amazon. I'll put the link in the description to that stencil. It came with a bunch of different sizes, which is pretty cool. And then I'm just using this Rust-Oleum white flat spray paint. Let's see how this turns out. Oh, I'm also using these bolts to keep the stencil down, just because with this a little bit of airflow, I don't want it to pick up. So let's see how this goes. I almost just started spraying and realized that this edge is exposed, so I'm gonna cover it with painter's tape. I would have been really mad if I did that. Nice. That stencil worked pretty well. My bottom stars, I should have made this piece of wood a little bit bigger, but it is what it is at this point. Pretty happy with that. Now I'm gonna glue these pieces all together before adding the star. I'm gonna do that separately just because I don't have enough clamps. This is definitely not the best way to do it, but I already have this thing shimmed up, so it's gonna have to work. Connection over there, because I don't have a long enough wood clamp to clamp this
that way
to get that joint, so I'm just gonna hope that this joint's gonna be strong enough to kind of hold it, and that will dry up. See how it turns out tomorrow. Flag has come out looking really good. I'm gonna give it 2 to 3 coats of this polyacrylic clear satin. The final product is done. I think it turned out incredible. The polyacrylic really helps seal it so this paint won't chip. Again, this flag is 37 by 22. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. Look forward to the next project.